Welcome. Today I'm going to talk to you about the organization of the first German chess league, the Schachbundesliga. And firstly, I would like to mention that the Schachbundesliga is a private entity which is formally not part of the German Chess Federation. However, it is approved by the German Chess Federation. Thus, the Schachbundesliga is able to do their own marketing, and therefore they are a little bit more independent as if they were still part of the German Chess Federation. In the Schachbundesliga, we have in total 16 teams. So here you can see that currently the strongest, best team is on first place. And if we scroll down, we see that we have in total 16 teams. 16 teams means that if each team plays each team plays in total 15 matches. And so how is this organized? Well, first of all, we should try to understand how many players play in each team and how big a team is in general. So in each individual match, a team consists of 8 players, and these 8 players are chosen out of a set of 16 to 18 players, which are allowed to be there for the club. So if we take a look here, we see that our team has 16 players plus 2 youth players. So the last 2 boards, board 17 and 18, these are 2 players below the age of 20. So in addition to your regular 16 players, you can add 2 youth players at the very end. Now this is to encourage the teams to already give their young players a chance to play in the first league. So out of these 18 players in our case, we have to choose 8 players for the team in each individual match. This is the task of the team leader, in our case Hans-Hubert Sonntag. And then the 8 players play against 8 players of the other team. So let's suppose we select the first 8 players for the match. Then what would happen is I would play on board 1 and I would play against the other player, a player from the other team who is ranked highest in the ranking. So for instance, if it's also number 1 and the number 1 of the other team also plays in that individual encounter, then I would play against the other board number 1. And then we would play against each other on board number 1. And typically this means that these are the strongest players. And then this goes down until board 8, in our case now Rudolf Meesen, he would play with a player who is placed on board 8 for the other team. So formally the weakest player of the other team. And then we sum up the points in the individual encounters. And if in the end our team manages to score more than 4 points, this means that we win the match and that we get 2 team points. And then if we score exactly 4 points, this means that the match ends 4-4 because we have 8 players. Then our team would get 1 team point. If we score less than 4 board points, then it means that our team would lose and we would get 0 team points. And in addition to that, we of course just get the board points. But here the order is lexicographic, meaning that first the number of team points counts and then the number of board points. Okay, so let's take a look at the organization a little bit more in detail. Here we have the organization of a weekend. So one specialty of the first league of the Schachbundesliga is that we play 2 games per weekend. In lower leagues, you usually play only 1 game per weekend. And this is because the players travel from far away and thus they can then directly play 2 games, which reduces the travel cost for the teams. Yeah, and so in each for each weekend, we have 1 team which organizes the weekend. Let's take this example here. In this example, Augsburg organizes this first weekend, and Augsburg plays against Hamburg on Saturday, and Munich plays against Kiel on Saturday. So they all go to Augsburg, and on the first day, Augsburg plays against Hamburg, Munich plays against Kiel, and on the second day, Augsburg plays against Kiel, the former opponent of Munich, and Munich plays against Hamburg, the former opponent of Augsburg. And so this is basically what we call a travel partner. So 2 teams travel together. In this case, the teams of Hamburg and Kiel, they travel together. and the teams of Augsburg and Munich, they also travel together. What this means is that they always go together to the different venues, and then one team plays against one team of the other couple, in this case Hamburg and Kiel on the first day, and then against the other team of the other couple on the second day. So they're basically just switching opponent on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so now let's take a look. So this happens in the first 2 rounds. Now let's follow this couple. So the next time we see that they play in Dresden. So again, Augsburg and Munich, they travel together to Dresden, and they play against Dresden and Berlin. So Saturday, Augsburg plays against Dresden, and Sunday against Berlin. And for Munich, it's the same, but vice versa. This happens for in total 6 weekends, where the teams which organize the events, they alternate. So in the end, we get that after 6 weekends, we have played 12 rounds. And then there is a final weekend, which is organized centrally in Berlin. This is the 7th weekend. And the 7th weekend is a little bit particular because we have 3 matches. Why 3 matches? Well, we still have the travel partners, and the travel partners did not play against each other until that point in time. So here in the first round in Berlin, round 13, Augsburg plays against Munich, against the travel partner. So for instance, Mülheim plays against Solingen, they travel together, and we, for instance, would play against Viernheim, since we travel together with Viernheim. And after that, the teams just play irregular weekend rounds, where just everything takes place centrally in Berlin, and all players meet, and it's kind of a nice end to the season. After these 15 rounds, the team which has scored the most team points is going to be the champion. In case, let's say, 2 teams have scored the most number of team points, then they will have a tiebreak match to determine the champion. The last 4 teams, so the 4 teams who scored the fewest points, they will relegate to the second league. And again, in case that there is a tie, so let's suppose there are teams which are ranked 12 and 13, and these 2 teams have scored the same number of team points, then in this case there is no match to decide who relegates, but it's just decided based on the number of board points. Okay, so this was the basic information about the Schachbundesliga. Maybe one final thing that I could say is how the different travel partners are chosen. And this is based on some distance measures, or some distance algorithm, which tries to minimize the total traveling distance of the teams. So in many cases, the teams which play together, they are geographically very close. Let's say, for instance, Mülheim and Solingen, they're very close together. Augsburg and Munich is also relatively close together. We were a bit unlucky in that respect because we traveled now together with Viernheim, which is not so close to Aachen, but this is because in the end, this minimizes the total amount of kilometers that the teams have to travel. So that's what I wanted to say about the travel partners. Final word, and now I'm ready to close this video, and thank you a lot for your interest in the Schachbundesliga. I'm already looking forward so much to playing in it in 2 weeks from now.